Today we're playing Blue Purple Luffy, the double drawer, 9-cost Sanji, dual 9-drop playing, most abusive deck in the One Piece card game in the OP11 format. Now if you haven't kept up, this leader basically just gets to draw 2 cards every turn if your turn starts with more than 8 Dawn. So we ramp up aggressively into 8 and then just continue to spam out big bodies and stack our own deck. In doing so, this 9-cost Sanji just says play out a 9-cost or lower character from the top of your deck other than Sanji. Basically we just abuse the crap out of it. It's taken over the Japanese meta, so let's test it out and see really how abusive this deck is. Now let's go test some games on the site. Here is our deck and our blue purple leader. As it says, you may activate this effect at the start of your turn if you have 8 or more Dawn cards on the field. Look at the top 5 and grab a Straw Hat Crew type card, add it to your hand, then place the remaining cards at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. Meaning we can stack our deck properly to set up for this 9-cost Sanji, so we can draw a 2k counter and then draw into another 2k counter and then put a 9-cost Rush Luffy on the top of our deck, play a 9-cost Sanji, cheat out the Luffy, Dawn -1, get Rush, and draw a card. And now we get to also choose the next card we draw, which could be a 2k counter, a counter event, or really just whatever we need. So this deck is very abusive in the current format, using these 9 costs like the Luffy we just talked about, the 9-cost Lin that just says Dawn -1, trash 1 card from your hand, add 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life, and then choose one of your opponent's 6-cost or lower characters, add it to the top or bottom of their life. So you gain a life, you remove a body, and you put a 9/9 on the board. It's a very strong card in the deck, while also running this 8-drop Katakuri, which is an 8k power blocker, and then says end of your turn, set up to 2 of your Big Mom Pirate type characters as active and Ramp of Dawn rested. So usually we have an issue of 9-drop Lin, where we can no longer use Gum Gum Giant and Lin on the same turn, because that brings us to 7 Dawn. But now, thanks to Katakuri, we can leave that 1 Dawn as active, get 1 back as rested after using a Lin. So now we're on 10 Dawn, we Dawn -2, we're at 8, and we're at 8 on the start of our turn, because this effect has to occur at the start of the turn, not after you actually draw your Dawn. So it's very specific how you have to do certain things, so keep it in mind that this is just how the deck is played. I mean, it's very, very strong at the end of the day, so definitely keep your eyes out for this leader, the alt leader, and anything that goes in the deck, because it's about to go crazy in price. Now let's start with the Nami blocker that just says on play if your leader is multicolored, draw 3, place 2 cards at the top or bottom of your deck in any order, allowing us to filter through the deck and drawing 3, kind of setting up exactly as we need, because we do run a ton of bricks and only about 8 2k counters. We're running 4 of the Bon Clay. This just says on play add to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck as active, and then when attacking, choose up to 1 of your opponent's characters. This character has the same base power as the character for this turn. Now, the strong effect with this is well, I'll explain it after we go into Zoro, I guess, because Zoro just says when attacking, if you have 3 or less life cards, add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So we go 1 Dawn into 3 Dawn. 3 Dawn will play Zoro. Now on the Zoro turn, we swing in. Now this gives us 1 extra Dawn. We're on 6 Dawn. So we tap 4 for Bon Clay, Bentham, right? And now we have 3 Dawn. We swing in for 7 with our leader, and we leave 2 Dawn active for Thunder Baguio, which we'll get into in just a minute. But basically it just says your leader up to 1 of your characters gain plus 4,000. Then if you have 2 or less life cards, add 1 card from your Dawn deck as rested. So now we're starting our next turn on 8, and then we're ramping into 10. So we're set up for our 9-drop Sanji on turn 4, which is very, very strong. So I know it's a very specific curve, but it's something I've actually done in a game, and it feels very, very overpowered. Now we get into our 2k counters. For Nosuke, just has Rush if you have 8 or more Dawn on the field and you add a Dawn to it, so it can help us get rid of bodies on the board or swing in at our opponent. We also have the 6-cost Sanji that says if you have 3 or less, if you have 2 or fewer Dawn than your opponent, this card only costs 3 in your hand, which is pretty good. But usually we always have more Dawn than our opponent, so it doesn't come into effect too often. We're also running the Tony Chopper blocker. It's just really a chump blocker, but if we have less Dawn, we add 1 as rested. We don't really have that effect either. Again, we're ramping up aggressively, and that's the idea of the deck. So these secondary effects here don't really matter. It's more just for the blocker stat line. We've already been over our big bodies, the 9, 9, 9, and 8. So then we'll go straight into Usohachi, which just says if you have 8 or more Dawn, rest up to 1 of your opponent's 5-cost lower characters, which is very, very strong. One of the best 2k counters ever to be printed, and it's Straw Hat Crew searchable, just like this Nami, the Sanji, the Luffy. I mean, all of the characters we've shown so far are all Straw Hat Crew searchable. Even Gum Gum Red Rock is Straw Hat Crew searchable, which just places any character at the bottom of its owner's deck. And Gravity Blade is not searchable, but it just places 2 6-cost or lower characters at the bottom of its owner's deck. Also saying place up to 1 cost 5 or less character on the bottom of its owner's deck as the trigger, which we can technically set up. So think about this, with a trigger like this, with the Gravity Blade, we can use our leader effect, we can stack the Sanji to play out the Lin, and now behind the Lin we can put a Gravity Blade. So now we know the life we gain is going to be Gravity Blade, so now we know when they hit us, we can choose if we want to bottom deck their character if we take, and then bottom deck of character on the board. Basically, to put it simply, this deck is very, very strong if you're a skilled pilot. Now we get to Thunder Baguio. We've already been over this, but it also has the trigger to add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as active, allowing us to ramp, which is always going to be good for a trigger. We have Gum Gum Giant. Again, you know what this card does. It's a plus 4K and then -0 cards in hand. It's really, really ruthless. And then Gear 2, rest 2 of your Dawn cards if your leader is blue. Add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as rested. So that's pretty good. It just ramps you a Dawn for 3 Dawns, simple and easy on your 3 Dawn curve. And then also counter up to one of your leaders gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. So a 3 Dawn ramp is why we like to go first. It really is helpful. We have Bon Clay if we go second. We have Zora Zero if we go first, and Gear 2 if we go first as well. But obviously you can use these going second. It just takes us a little bit longer to ramp up to 8, and it's not perfect like going first is. So anyways, that's the deck. That's the deck profile. And that's Blue Purple Luffy. This deck again is very abusive, very difficult to beat, and I'm excited to take it on a sim and just destroy a few people. So hey, let's get into those games and stop talking about it. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out yesterday's video where we actually won our treasure cup and did a full in-depth breakdown of that video. It was so much difficult, it was such a difficult edit, and it took so much time to make it 25 minutes from 2.5 hours. So please enjoy that video and enjoy this one. Check it out after this one though. So all right, our opponent chooses to go first here, and I think with that we will keep this hand aggressively. I'm not 100% sure on why, but I don't think it's a bad idea at all. We're having a bunch of pop-ups randomly for our Xbox account, okay? And we're just gonna pass here because we do have Thunder Baguio as active, so we can use this to counter out of an aggressive attack if our opponent does choose to swing in and we get to ramp a Dawn. So this really helps with the going second curve, and it looks like exactly like our opponent's gonna swing in. So we're gonna go ahead and take it, resolve the attack. We don't get to ramp because we have 2 or less. Whoops. This is the second video in OP11 where I mess up with a new counter event that I've never used before. We're going to play Bon Clay, and then we're going to swing in for 7/7 just because it stops their leader effect anyways. They do use the Hiyori and draw a card because if you don't know, Nami gets to draw a bunch of cards. They have Kiki Nojo, trigger out. That's really, really good for our opponent actually. So we're a little scared, not gonna lie. We a little scared out here. So they're going to swing in for 6. We're going to go and counter this one, and then we're going to take the next attack pretty aggressively here because we don't need to give them a 2K at this point. They get to draw a card anyways. They were going to do something with life more than likely. So it is what it is. They have the Cavendish. We don't get to draw anything. So we can go. We did give them the Nami, which was not really smart. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Let's go. We have 7. So we're going to go 8 into Kiki Nojo. I really wish we had a raid ramp right here. That would be very nice. Very good. We're going to swing in for 7. It's going to really take their leader effect and a card out of hand. Or they just take because they did just get a free life anyways. We're going to tap 2 and pass. Now we have a blocker and we have 1 active. We're actually showing 2 just in case we want to act like we have the Thunder Baguio. And we may just we could take a blind rip with Sanji. That would be pretty fun here. I'm not going to lie to you, that would be pretty fun. Now, the Nami player does have 9 cards. They don't get the advantage of drawing an extra card from their leader effect because they have to have 7 or less cards in hand, especially once they swing this Cavendish allowing them to draw 2 and trash 1, which is very, very good for our opponent. We're sitting here on 7 Dawn. They could go Jozu, bounce Hiyori, and then bounce our blocker, which would be pretty strong, and then swing in for 6 and 6. Our opponent chooses to swing in for 1 right here. We're just going to let that go pretty easily because now it forces our opponent to go 6, but now they have to put Dawn on their leader to actually continue swinging in. Now they're going to go 8. We are going to take this attack, which may not be smart to some of you, but it just makes sense. It just makes sense. So we're going to take that. We get the Nami. They don't get to draw a card because they have 10 cards in hand, which is very good for us. We are going to block out of the second attack here because we did expect another 8 or higher kind of attack. So it basically forces them to go into a big attack, or we just get out of there pretty free. We have 7 total Dawn. And now what do we do? I think we're just going to play down. We're going to swing in for 6. We're going to play down Katakuri and then pass. We could have swung in heavier and then played down the Nami, but they have the Vista, so even swinging in heavier, it still just only takes 1 card, which this would be the chump blocker we take versus whatever else we want to do. So next turn, we will have our effects as active. We're going to pass. We're going to gain 1 rested, so we're sitting at 10 Dawn total. So now we can freely Gum Gum Giant and still start at 8 next turn. That shows you the strength of the Katakuri blocker itself. And now we have an AK on the board. I'd say we're getting into a better spot. It was a little scary there for a minute. But yep, it's a little scary there. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a little scary there. We're just gonna block out of that for free. We get the draw 2, trash 1, and then we're just gonna be swinging in aggressively at this body. So it's a free block. We don't even need to use the Gum Gum Giant. We will get to draw 2 here, and yeah, we should be good. Can't swing in with their leader. They don't have a Dawn on the character either, so that's very good. We can choose to swing in at our opponent. We're swinging to their board. I think we're going to swing into board here. We're going to use the card action. We're going to draw a Usohachi. We're going to place these on the top. We're we're gonna draw into the Sanji and then cheat out the Katakuri. So we're gonna go 8 into 6. We're gonna get a blocker out of them, and then we're gonna get 1 card out of them. Just kind of going a little aggressive into the Cavendish. We need to kind of get their hand size down. They have so much going on. But now we're going to be able to spam out a bunch of bodies. We're going to be able to pass a turn. Katakuri, restanding Katakuri, and then gain arrested. Yep, we are all good there. Obviously, we can't gain anything, but we have a ton of counter now. And so even at 0 life, we have 2 blockers. They only have so many swings, and we're really just not worried at this point because we can easily block him 1k out of this, or we can just give him the Gum Gum Giant. I think blocking 1k is pretty solid here, though. They don't really have a good rush option in yellow and purple, yellow and blue, so we should be pretty safe here. I mean, they can't even play an ace, so if they were playing something, well, we are going to 1 cost, return to done. We're going to trash the 9 cost Luffy, gain +4, and draw 2 cards, so that's at least going to give us 2 2k counters. They're going to swing in for 10 here. We're going to have to block and just give up the blocker here, sadly. And then our opponent is going to swing in for another 8. We'll block and give them a 2k counter. We did see that they would have a smaller swing here. We'll give them that character. And now we're getting into a better spot. All right. I know I keep talking about how we're in a better spot and then it looks worse and worse, but we're going to figure it out. Don't worry. Because now we get to draw 2 cards again. So I want to draw into the Sanji, but gaining life just seems so much better here. So I think we go Usohachi, draw, and then we just leave it like that. So place on top, return cards so we get more counter, because we do need to Lin here. We don't really have a way to Gravity Blade safely. We could Gravity Blade the 2 characters on the board. We could Red Rock the Eustace Captain Kidd. Would the removal be better here? We do have a lot of counter in hand. I like the idea of gaining life. I'm not going to lie to you. Puts us in just a better position. So I think we're just going to hit them in the face. See what they choose to do here. They should counter out, because we could go with more swings in the face here, and then they would have to block and counter a bigger attack. So I think we're good. Now if they want to take, we can also just continue swinging in the face. If they want to counter, we can also still continue swinging in the face. So I think no matter what, we're just going to ignore the Cavendish completely. We're going to try to take the blocker and, a good bit of counter. They can just take this and then block out of the next attack pretty safely here. So we're going to continue in with that aggression, and then we can choose to 9-drop Lin, which I think is going to be the best here. They do exactly as we expected. So now we're going to 9 Lin. We're going to Don -1. We're going to trash the Gravity Blade, gain 1 life, and then put the Cavendish on the bottom of their life. So now we've removed the board a little bit. We pass, we restand the Katakuri blocker, we gain Arrested Don back. So if we did have a Gum Gum Giant, we'd still be safe. Obviously we don't, but we still have a good amount of counter. But we've put our opponent in a position where we're really starting to fight back. This was scary, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, especially with the mistake earlier with Thunder Baguio. Yes, we got out of the attack, but it wasn't the brightest idea. Now, we can block and counter, but then we're going into a chance of losing our character. I almost want to just take this. How crazy would it be just to take this? I know it's on the top of my deck. Yep, we choose to take it. We 9 Lin into the Katakuri, meaning we don't have anything for 9 drop. Ooh. Well, this one we can just block in 1k. We didn't know we put the Katakuri on top of life and didn't really think about it. That shows you the skill pilots that you need for this deck. They do get to bounce one of their own characters here, give Arrested Don to their leader. So we will just block and 1k out of this attack, and now we'll need to 2k out of the swing from their leader just to get out of the attacks here. And we should be pretty safe. Now we can, kind of Red Rock the Luffy. So this is going to be another very specific turn. We're going to use the card action. We're going to draw into a Gear 2, start placing on top. We need to draw into Bon Clay, because we need to choose what we draw here, even if it's not that good for us. So now what we're going to need to do is... So we know we're going 6 for Red Rock. So we have 4 total Dawn. We have 1 we need to use. So we can go into face, a bunch of 9s into face. Let's start with an 8 and see what our opponent does here. They probably take this. No, they choose to counter or gain the 2,000 because they're going to do that anyways and give us a 2k. Ooh, I think we're going to go 9 in face. I think we're just going straight face here. 9 in face. They just take all of these and then go for game on the next turn. So now we can go another 9 into face. We'll Red Rock the blocker or the rush option. We'll restand our 2 characters and then gain no Dawn. All right, that's it. That's it. We either win this next turn or we lose the game. It's one or the other. It is one or the other here. So I'd say we're in a pretty good spot. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I don't really know if we're in a good spot. Still blue purple Luffy testing. This does take a lot of skill to pilot this deck. I mean, I've said that many times, but we're sitting on a solid little 6k counter. Our opponent swings in for 10. The question is, if we counter out of this, we give them 1 and 2, and they split with their 2 characters, we do just lose. So I'm trying to find 5 on here, 4 on here. I think it's better to block out of this attack for free, or to just take the block. No, because then they just pile on the character. So we have to counter out of this. We have to counter out of that. But then I think they just split, you know, 9 and 9. Obviously, we can't get out of 9 and 9. It's guaranteed lethal. Guaranteed lethal here. Our opponent did things perfectly. What? What? Hold up. What? All right. I think it just doesn't matter at this point. We'll grab a Sanji. We'll place on top. We'll draw a Bon Clay. Go into Lin Lin. Do we go for lethal? They have 2 Dawn active. Not gonna lie, I'm a little confused here. I'm a lot confused. We'll go another 9. They don't have a Dawn on their leader either. They had lethal. GC's nice and easy. Hey, we'll take a win when we get it. I'm not gonna lie, that was not the best win of my life. Versus Jinbe. If you have 6 or less cards in your hand, set up to one of your Fishman or Merfolk type characters is active, and up to one of your Dawn is active. So our opponents just go first. We have a ramp option. It's not a great one for going second, but I think it'll have to do. I think it'd be greedy not to just keep it, because I mean, a mulligan could be detrimental. It could be very bad. So, Bon Clay's a little better actually, just because we can play it and guarantee the 1 Dawn rather than possibly getting it by swinging with Zoro. We'll be going into, what, 7 Dawn? It's not great. It's not great. Our opponent's going to swing big. We're going to use no trigger. We're just going to hold on to a red rock for later. More than likely going to use the gravity blade, not the red rock. We'll take this. Bon Clay's just better. Bon Clay's just better. We're going to swing in for 7. Might as well. Hey, lucky number 7. Lucky number 7. We pass to our opponent. Our opponent goes and starts us off. Well, not really starting us off. We're on turn 3 here. 5 Dawn total. I don't really know what Jinbe does specifically, so don't hold it against me, because we're still going to play Jinbe soon, and every other leader in OP11, just so you guys can get ready and get your deck profiles very soon, as you always do here on the Mr. Proud channel. Alright, our opponent's going to swing 8 again at us. They stop us with the R-Long, stopping our character from attacking, get arrested, Dawn to their character, and we're going to go ahead and counter out of this with a 2 and a 1. Pretty simply. Obviously, we can't use the card action. We're going to be on 7 Dawn here, so we're going to play out 4. We leave us 3. That doesn't really do anything, so we're going to go with the Nami. Start placing on the top. I think we're going to put Gravity Blade and Red Rock. We're not going to be using them right now. That leaves us a couple extra Dawn. We can just swing in again for 7, and we have a blocker on the board now. They only have a 4K on the board, so that's pretty good for us. The R-Long would be really detrimental if they play another one, stopping our blocker, but we should be okay. We should be okay. Alright, our opponent chooses to take there, and we're just going to pass the turn, and now we should be good to go. Stopping the Bon Clay this early doesn't really do much, so we don't really care about that. I mean, we can only swing in for 4 with it. We'd have to give it a Dawn anyways, and I like having our counter event. Now our opponent plays Mihawk into another slash character, rested, which is going to be R-Long, so they get to go, wow, really wide and very strong. Really good for our opponent here, but they do give us a 7K to swing in with for our Bon Clay. So we're kind of okay with it. Now they could go 6 and 7 in if they want to use both of their Dawn. They have more than 6 cards in hand, so they need to play out 1 more character to actually get any effect out of their Jinbe here, because it could stand up their Fishman Pirate type character, but obviously they're going to go that 6 and 7. We're going to give them a 1K Bon Clay, and then a 2K counter out of hand. We could go ahead and give them the Gear 5, but I kind of want to hold it for later. We'll go 2K counter and call it a day. So we're going into 9 Dawn. Very, very good for us. Now we could Gravity Blade both of their characters off the board, or we could go Katakuri. I don't really think I'm worried about either of these characters. I really don't think so. Because, I mean, even if they counter to save the R-Long, we can just swing in again, easily. Easily could just swing in again. Now, swing in for 7K at our opponent, and then the Mihawk can swing into the Bon Clay. We can block, maybe. Well, then that gives them bodies to swing into with both, so maybe not. I don't know. Pass, choose none, gain arrested, and we're good. So now we have a total of 10 Dawns, so we could use the Gum Gum Giant if need be, drop the Gravity Blade, draw into a Red Rock and something else. We don't know what that something else is just yet. So we should be... Oh, watch this. Boom. Oh, this is brilliant. This is going to be brilliant right here. Just trust me. Because we still have an 8K. So we can just... How crazy would it be to counter? Let's just block that too. Let's see what happens. See what our opponent chooses to swing into with the R-Long here. Because now we got out of both of those for free, basically. They used the Vanderdecken, trash a Fishman Pirate, KO our Katakuri. Pretty good by our opponent, honestly. Now they get to remove our whole board, basically. Because the R-Long can just swing this Bon Clay. And they still have, what, 7 Dawn to work with. They could go Hody Jones, rest down our Dawn, rest down whatever they want. They go Jinbe instead. Jinbe makes their characters able to attack characters on the turn they're played. So now Vanderdecken can swing into... Oh, Jinbe can make itself swing. Okay. So Jinbe is going to swing into our character here. We're going to go ahead and Gum Gum Giant, return to Dawn, discard the Gravity Blade. Gravity Blade would have been very good, but we're okay. We're going to just resolve that attack after that. And then our opponent can choose to swing another 8. But we'll get to keep the Bon Clay, so keeping the Bon Clay I think is going to be very strong, if I'm honest with you. They swing the Bon Clay anyways, so that is good for us. They play a Koby. They have less cards, so they can stand up one of their characters now. And look at this. They have a very wide board. They draw another Jinbe here, so they are able to swing into our characters. And we're going to need to be very, very good at what we're about to do. They restand their Arlong. We draw into a Gum Giant and then start placing on top. I think we're going to go rush Luffy because we already have a blocker on the board. No, wait. Draw. Yep, like that. Because we get to draw into the Zoro next. Boom. All right. So now we can 9-drop with the Sanji and feel pretty safe about it. So we can go 6 into Mihawk. They should just take. We could also just go into face and totally ignore the Mihawk because, I mean, it doesn't really do too much at this point. So probably definitely should have, could have, would have, and we didn't. So, oh well, it's a little too late for that, if I'm honest. We are going to go, if we don't swing the Nami, they're going to rest it down anyway, so we might as well swing the Nami. Try to get one card out of hand. If they don't give us one card out of hand, that would kind of make sense, but they do give us one card out of hand, which is kind of what we were hoping for. Oh, a 1K, so they're going to have to give us 2 1Ks here, or they're kind of just cooked. So now we should be able to go in with 12 into the Jinbe. The reason we swung the Nami is because we're only going to have 1 Dawn active and 1 blocker, so if they did choose to Hoodie Jones there, it would put us in a bad position. We're going to deploy, we're going to return a Dawn, we're going to choose none, we're going to draw another card, and then we're going to go straight into this Jinbe here, trying to remove the character off the board. Now, it's going to be hard to Gum Giant because we don't have the Katakuri to give us the 1 rested Dawn back. Keep that in mind as we continue this turn. We do have a red rock for next turn. Remember, we can remove the Arlong. They do counter out with a 0 cost event. That's kind of wild, unexpected. They could have just done that with the... Man, they really held that thing. That was brilliant by our opponent. Holy cow. Mind games out the wazoo here, my boys. Mind games. So we know we're going to draw into a Katakuri, so even if we do have to use the Gum Giant, we should be safe. Our opponent's going to swing in for 8. And what are they swinging 8 into? If they go into board into the Nami, we're going to let it go. They hit us. I think we just go ahead and cash in on our 1 Dawn here just to be safe in case they do want to play down a Hoodie Jones out of hand. So it should mean we are good to go. They swing in another 8. I think we're going to take this attack. We have a Gravity Blade trigger. Nothing we really want to bottom deck here, so we'll just hold it in hand as Gum Giant fodder later. Our opponent's going to swing in for another 8. We're going to go a 2 and a 1. Our opponent's going to have 6 after this. They could play down another Jinbe and then swing into the Nami. Yep. So they're going to give Jinbe Pseudo Rush, swing into the Nami. We let that go, and boom. Now we're back into the game. So we're going to go 9 into Arlong. We're going to go 12 into Jinbe. We're going to draw 2 cards, which is going to be very nice. We're going to draw into a... Charlotte Linland's not bad either. Charlotte Linland's definitely not bad here. We're going to draw into the Nami. We're going to start placing on top. We're going to draw, I think, into the Linlin. We're going to put Thunder Baguio at the top. I mean, it's a trigger. We leave 2 Dawn active. Ooh, I think we'd rather draw into the actual Zoro, right? So they're not going to have 2 Dawn anyway, so it's just a brick. But it could ramp us a Dawn. It'll ramp us a Dawn after we go Dawn minus for the Gum Giant. Okay, I like it. I like it. I like where we're cooking. We're cooking. We're going to go 9 into Arlong. That should get the removal here. They do have 1 Dawn active, so they could have some kind of counter event or something. Now we're going to go 12 into Jinbe, and then 9 drop Linlin. We're going to use the card action, go Dawn -1. We're going to trash the Gravity Blade at this point. We're going to gain a life, and then we're going to put the Jinbe at the bottom of the deck, and then we're just going to pass. So now only Gum Giant, if we choose to Gum Giant, we should still be safe to go into 10 Dawn if we, need to get out of 2 attacks. Now they only have 1 attack, so we should be safe. Thunder Baguio is definitely not a bad trigger to have in there. We do have the Katakuri coming up. We have the Nami in hand. We have a Red Rock as well. And our opponent is just going to swing wide, it looks like. So I'm going to give them a 1K counter here. And then they can swing pretty hefty, I guess, with Leader. And we'll just take that attack. Not really too stressed about it, if I'm honest with you guys. Because then we can go Katakuri. We can swing in, how we need to. Now this, I guess, we'll counter out of as well. And then we'll just take a simple 8 because they can't go, or 7 because they can't go any heavier than that. So might as well, no trigger, and we should be good because we're going to draw into this Katakuri anyways. So we're going to remove the bodies anyways. I mean, might as well. You know what I mean? Might as well. We're going to grab a Frenosuke. We could go another Charlotte Linland here, honestly, but I kind of like the Katakuri more. Start placing on top. We're going to draw into this character, get a Katakuri in hand, and now we know, hey, I'm just here to swing 6. Our opponent kind of has to counter. We're not really worried about the Koby. We're going to have a blocker and a bunch of counter in hand already, so we should be safe here. We're more than likely going to use the Gum Giant than anything else, so maybe it would have been smart to swing in for 7, but I think this just means it's game. If they take that attack, now we go in 9, 9, Well, now it's just, what, guaranteed lethal almost? No, it's not. We're just going to go for another 9. We don't have to go for game here. We are still so safe. So, and with them only having 2 2K bodies, we're totally fine. So they do get out of this attack with a bunch of 1Ks out of hand. We could have swung a little heavier, but it is what it is. We were going to go in for 12, and then we're going to play out a blocker. They didn't really have anything to do. They were grabbing a 1-cost event, so they only missed a 3 cost and gain plus 3,000 power. Yes, I know we didn't have to play it like that, but I'm not upset of how we played it. I mean, we're just going to play it on a blocker. We're going to set on a Gum Giant. We're going to discard the Thunder Baguio, get plus 4,000. We don't need to draw next turn because we basically have guaranteed lethal with only 2 cards in hand and them having no bodies on the board. GG's Jinbe. That was actually kind of scary in the beginning with how many bodies they had, but you can see how we can control the board with the 9-cross Sanji into the Luffy and then playing out the Linlins. Like, we really held control of the board as we do with blue-purple Luffy. And we're going to take on blue-purple Nami here. We will get the first curve and no ramp. We're going to mulligan that hand very quickly. At least we get a Zoro, at least. It's a little better than having absolutely nothing, so hey, I'll take what we get here. We are running 3 of this Sanji. We find 1 right here. I think 4 maybe a little too much, honestly. Honestly, you saw enough in the last game where we didn't need it every time. We were able to do our things on our own. Now they do Hiyori. They get to switch their lives around, probably put a trigger in their life, which is going to be Kiki Nojo. So we're going to swing in for 6 anyways and give them an extra body on the board. It is what it is. We're okay with that. Boom. Just like we expected. We're going to pass a turn. Now, this is very strong because we always start with 3 or less life. That's how I kind of had the idea that they were going to use that with the Hiyori, because it's a great pairing right there. We're going to give them a 1K counter out of hand. Sadly, we're going to give them a 1K counter out of hand. They're going to swing in for another 6. We're going to take. We are going to. So this would put us to 7 already. We could go ahead and Gravity Blade. How crazy would that be? Oh, they're about to play Zeus. These jerks. They're going to play Zeus or something. We're going to ramp it on as active. Might as well. We have no cards in hand. We have nothing anyways. What are they going to do for 3 here? I'm so lost. Bonkov. Ooh. What? That is the most BS thing I've ever seen. Randomly pulling the Zeus off the top of the deck. But hey, it is what it is. We're going to draw for the turn. And we're just cooked. I'm not going to lie to you. We are cooked. We're going to go ahead and bottom. We're going to hit this Kiki Nojo. Man, this is a very bad position to be in. I mean, we could have just KO'd the Kiki Nojo, I guess, but I'm just going to Red Rock. Just because at this point, dude, we are in a bad spot. We're going to Red Rock the Kiki Nojo and pass. That's literally all we could do at this point. We have 0 counter in hand. Our opponent could literally just swing in for 6 and then everything like 6. Can they go 6/6/6? No, they can't. Okay, thank goodness. We just don't die at least. That would be miserable. We can at least put out a Katakuri before the game ends. Hey, that's something. Am I right, guys? Yeah, we're in a very bad spot. We are in a very bad spot. They're going to go 1 on leader, swing in for 6. They have their leader effect active after that. But man, this has been difficult. This has not been an easy matchup at all, especially with just this horrible hand. I mean, I don't even know at this point. Opponent swings in for 6. We take. We're searching for more options. They played on Cavendish, so that is good. That is very good. Very good for us. They draw a card here, thanks to them playing out the Cavendish first and then swinging, just in case we did take the life, which we did, of course. And man, that Zeus was very lucky. I'm kind of pissed. I'm not gonna lie. Gravity Blade? Anybody? Anybody like Gravity Blade here? Could do like Katakuri? I think Gravity Blade is gonna be the best here. Let's swing in for 6 first, get a card out of their hand for free. Might as well. I mean, it's just 1 card, but it's better than 0 cards. They don't get to draw anything thanks to them having so many cards in hand with this Ivankov. I'm thinking it's better to go Nami, Chopper, draw 3, place 2 cards at the top kind of thing, and then go from there, which I think is kind of better in this situation. I think it's a lot better actually. So we're going to do that. We're going to Nami, start placing on top. We're going to place a Linlin and a Sanji. It doesn't really matter the order, I'm not going to lie to you. We're going to play out a Chopper. So we have a bunch of blockers on the board at least, so we are safe. They will get the Cavendish effect. Obviously, a Gravity Blade would have been nice. I thought we could have drawn into something a little better, but we are running into all of our big body bricks right now. So us using this Sanji is going to be very good because we are going to be able to draw 2 cards and ooey wooey. We're going to be able to swing in for 6 here. We'll be able to counter for 1, and we're going to sit on 0 life. Happily and sadly. Sitting at 0 life here. We can counter for 1. Thankfully, we don't have to lose a blocker off the board. We will be playing Sanji into Linlin here, and we will get to look before we start our turn. So we can use the card action. We don't need to draw into anything, so we're gonna grab a. We'll give them the info that we have a Sanji since we're placing we're drawing into a Sanji. We're gonna place this on the top, and then we're gonna go into a Linlin here. So now we can 9 drop. We're going to swing in for 6 at the character. We could go into face, but I don't think it really matters at this point. I mean, at the end of the day, that would just be a 2K versus a 1K. I honestly don't really care. Then I'll have a way to rest down our blockers, so that's good at least. We're going to play this, Dawn -1. We're going to trash a Gravity Blade. Could be good. We know there's another Katakuri on the top of our deck, so we can go ahead and drop that. Gain a life. Put the Cavendish to the bottom of the life pile, and then pass with 1 Dawn active. We don't have a 1-cost event, but we do have 2 blockers, and we do now have a life, so we've stabilized a little bit. Not that much, but a little bit, and a little bit is a lot better than a none of it, so we'll definitely take what we have. They're sitting on 10 Dawn. They could go 10-cost Kaido, wouldn't do anything, it just bounce both of our blockers, which honestly isn't horrible, and they just swing it for 9, we take, and then we're back down to 0, so then we have to kind of stay alive again somehow. Gravity Blade is not necessary right now, so we could definitely drop the Gravity Blade. They go Zeus, they take the top of their life, and then they get to trash our Nami or KO our Nami here. It's going to be really good for our opponent, just getting blockers off the board. They can swing pretty heavy, so now we only have 1 blocker. They could technically, I guess, Zeus again. They added the Cavendish to their hand, which is at the bottom of their life, so they do have the Cavendish back, so maybe Gravity Blade does do something here. And 9 into us. If we don't block, we have to worry about a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 going into our face if they did want to pop the chopper. So I think we have to block, sadly, just because of that. And our opponent taps down for an 8-drop Luffy, and that will give them a 1 rested Dawn to their leader, so they're going to swing 8 at us. They get to bounce their Zeus back to their own hand, giving them a 2k counter back in hand. Really good stuff here. So they discard a card, return 1 card, and then they give a leader a Dawn to their leader, so they get to draw 2k for free, basically. We will take this attack. It's going to be another 8-drop Katakuri. Our opponent gets to draw, except for the fact that they have 8 cards in hand, and we'll have to counter 1 here. Alright, this is not looking good. This is not looking good at all. We're going to use the card action. We're going to draw into a... I thought we had another 8-drop Katakuri up here. Oh, we gained the life into the 8-drop Katakuri. Okay, we don't have an 8-drop Katakuri. We're going to grab a Gum Gum Giant. We're going to place these on the bottom because these are not cards I want to draw into at this point. Sadly, we're going to draw into a Furnosuke. That's going to be a lot better. A lot better here. So, do we Lin again? Or do we Katakuri? Or do we Sanji Rip Raw? Like, that would be fun. I'm thinking Linlin's going to be the best option. We drop the Gravity Blade. Gravity Blade's not doing too much, so we're just going to swing in for 6 at our opponent. They're going to discard 1 card and use their leader effect, becoming a 7k leader. They can just drop a brick or whatever they want, really. It's going to be really good for our opponent here because they get a free plus 2,000 counter on all of these big body attacks, which a lot of people didn't expect. You know, this deck did get second. The Blue Yellow Nami did get second in the finals of Japan the other day. So this deck is really good. You saw us covered on the channel just a couple days ago. Now, I have not seen the Odin in their deck profile, but they're more than likely running the Odin as well. And I think we're just going to Lin again. I think that's the best option at this point, just gaining another life. Now, a blocker would be good. A blocker would be good, don't get me wrong. Man, well, I gotta think about this in longevity. Like, tap 8 for Katakuri. I actually think Katakuri's better than getting a blocker. Like, or than getting a life. Because I think we just lose if we just gain a life. Man, I'm having a tough decision. I think it's about the same, but Katakuri sets us up for later. I think that's just better. I think it is. I don't know for sure, but this at least keeps us. We're Gum Gum Giant. We can still draw 2 cards next turn, which I think if they do the same thing, because there's not really a body to remove other than the Ivankov. We're not too stressed about the Ivankov right now. Oh, Red Rock. Nice. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to give him a 2k counter here, and we need to be able to get out of a 9 and an 8, so swinging 10 would be very strong for our opponent. I think at that point it just means a GG's. So they're going to swing in for the 10. They're going 10 and 10. That is very smart by our opponent here. So we're going to Gum Gum Giant. We're going to need to find another Gum Gum Giant or a 1 cost and a 2k counter. Oh, they put 1 Dawn on. Whoa, they're getting spicy. Maybe this is the best option. I don't know what they're doing. Dawn -2. We're going to drop the Gravity Blade. We're going to get plus 4,000. Draw 2 cards. Give them a 1k counter. And we are dead in the waters here. We don't even have a 1k counter to get out of this. So we just take GG's to our opponent. They had so much counter in hand. I don't really know where we went wrong in that matchup. It was just tough. Like, Blue Yellow Nami has a tough time in a Blue Purple Luffy, so maybe it's the fact that we didn't ramp up fast enough, or I really don't know. I think them just getting that Zeus with the Ivankov was just crazy and very, very lucky, because obviously they didn't know the Zeus was there. They know they have run a lot of 2 costs, but I mean, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, I guess. So GG's to the Blue Yellow Nami. Normally we do have a winning matchup, but I think that was just the spot where it was like, hey, you're just not meant to win this one. Red Black Koby, another deck that we're going to be testing very soon. Again, we're trying to go into a bunch of the OP11 stuff. There's no ramp in that first hand. There's still no ramp, and that is very bad for us. We're just going to pass a turn early and hopefully draw into a Zorzoro off the top right now. They're going to play a brand new. Yep, called it. I just know these things, guys. I just know these things. And then they're gonna draw into a Helmeppo. We're not gonna get anything. We're gonna grab the Zoro. All right, I got 1 for 2. 1 for 2 is not that bad. We're gonna swing 9 into our opponent here. We have no ramp at all, which is really bad for us. They're gonna swing 6. We're gonna have to. We're gonna take that. We're gonna take that. I'm crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once. No leader effect again. We're gonna go Nami, so we're gonna swing in for 6 at our opponent. This is playing the Sanji to have a 6k swing into us, so that's really good for our opponent. We're gonna draw 3. We're gonna place 2 cards on the bottom, and we're gonna place one of the Namis and the Thunder Baguio. I don't think we're gonna use that. I guess we could use that next turn. Oh, when we're on 7, we can Nami. So we'll do 2 Namis on the bottom and then pass. So my goal next turn is going to be Thunder Baguio and Nami. So we're gonna have to use the Furnosuke and the Sanji as our counter for this turn. The Helmeppo will be able to play out the Koby. Koby can attack our Nami this turn as the turn is played. Oh, that's very annoying. That is very annoying indeed. So I guess we could counter out of this, but that wouldn't make sense. We're just gonna have to counter out of these 2 attacks. So it's like counter these 2, or we take 1 and we counter out of or we block out the other one. So either way, this character would die this turn because we need to get about these attacks. So 2 6Ks. We can get out of this. I had 1 job. 1 freaking job, bro. That's so stupid of me. Just a freaking misclick in half. That is the annoying thing about the sim, is like you could just misclick and lose everything here. So I'm just gonna freaking, I guess I'm just gonna pass. Like, that is so freaking miserable. I don't wanna play the Sanji. I wanna be able to Thunder Baguio so I get to 8 and then go into 10 and then be pretty set up for our draw 2 on the next turn. So I guess we're just stuck with how this is. It sucks, but that's literally just what a misclick does. So our opponent's gonna swing in very, very aggressively. We're going to give them another 2k counter here, and then we're gonna give them the Thunder Baguio, which is exactly what we would have done last turn, but we got to ramp into 8 now. We get to use our card action, which is very good for us to do it early. We're going to draw the Usohachi and then start. Do we want to get this Red Rock to get the dragon off the board, or do we care about the dragon? I think we care about the dragon here. Oh, well, we can remove either character. We can remove the dragon, thankfully. I think we're gonna start placing on the top, return cards, draw into the Red Rock. I think we're just gonna Red Rock down the character. So we can go 9 into Helmeppo here, trying to get some cards out of hand or remove the body off the board. We're not here to rush our opponent down. Now we're going to Red Rock the dragon, and then we're just gonna pass. So we're sitting on 9 Dawn, or 10 Dawn total. We can Gum Giant, discard the Katakuri, draw into another Katakuri and a 1k counter. We should have put the Katakuri towards the bottom. They search the top 3 cards of the deck for a Navy type character, trash the other 2 characters, similar to brand new. So we were in a tough spot, boys. We were in a tough spot. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Helmeppo is very strong. This card is probably the best card in the Koby deck, in my personal opinion. Just getting that 8 cost body on the board is just so strong. Now, they reveal a Hina. Hina's just going to be able to... Oh, this is just a Cardi Kaizoku kind of list almost. Running the Hina here. I didn't personally like the Hina, but I understand why people run it. I mean, getting a free Dawn is always going to be good, so I definitely understand it. So 6k on the board, though. They get the free Dawn. They swing in for 6. We're going to go and give them a 2k counter. And then if they go really, really heavy, we're just going to take. If not, we will use the Gum Giant if they just swing in for 7. I don't really want to take it that bad because we'll still be at 8 Dawn. So they go in for the 8. We're going to get out of this. Dawn -2, trash the Katakuri, +4, and then resolve the attack. We do have the Von Clay, and then our other 3 Katakuris in hand. They get the 1 cost blocker. They get the Sanji on the board. And I'm just saying, how wild would it be to do this? To grab this and put everything on the bottom of the deck. We're going to have to place these on the bottom, sadly. I would love to have these cards in our hand, but it just doesn't make sense. I think it's Katakuri time. I think we're going to swing in for 7 at our opponent and then play Katakuri. Our opponent's going very wide and stabilizing very well. This guy knows how to play against Blue-Purple Luffy. He's done this before, so good job by our opponent so far. We're going to play down that Katakuri and pass. We're not going to gain any Dawn or anything, because obviously there's none to gain. We have a 1k counter in hand, or a 3k counter in hand. We have a blocker on the board, so we're going to try to take a free block if we can, but if they do play down the secret Koby, that is a 9k swing going directly into this, or they tap 6 and just KO it altogether. And so we're going to give them a 1k counter for this attack. It's not looking good. They do have the Hina to get arrested Dawn from just putting character on the bottom of the deck, so they can go another 6 here, and we will counter out of this, +3, resolve attack, and then we're going to have to take these next 2 attacks. 7, take... Wow, we are in a very bad spot here. Very, very bad spot altogether. They have a free blocker, so if we do swing into any of their characters, they can just block out for free. This is not a good position, man. I don't know what's happening with this deck. Nothing's happening for me. They can now use the Hina effect, get the free Dawn on the Koby, and then swing in for another 6. We're going to have to counter out of this. And they fill out the board very, very well, especially knowing that they do have a blocker on the board. So they swing in for 7. Oh, because they have 2 Hinas, so we just take that. Sure, why not? Hey, we're going to be able to draw 2 cards here. Oh, wow. This is like exactly what we needed. Oh yeah, start placing on top, return, draw. We're gonna go 6 into Sanji here. I think this is what we needed. Boom, -1, choose no more. We draw another Usohachi. We're gonna swing heavy into the Helmeppo. They're gonna block with the Ripper, but now at least we have counter and cards in hand. All right. This isn't the best spot, but if our opponent swings all out, I mean, we're still safe, technically. We should be. No, we need 2 Dawn to be safe for sure, because we have a 3k counter coming in that we can't really use. Our opponent did that perfectly too. Our opponent's gonna swing in for 8 here. We're gonna go with 2 and a 1, get out of that attack, and I think they're just gonna go for 8s across the board. I mean, you think you just go 8, 8, 8, and then everything +4 and resolve the attacks. We can get out of 1 more attack, but after that we do just lose. So yeah, pretty good by our opponent here. We're only on 7, so we'll give them if we had 1 more Dawn, we'd be good. We would have had to play the Katakuri though, and they'd have an extra swing, so it really wouldn't do too much. You play the Peacock. I mean, it's just game at this point. They get to search the top 5 cards for free. They don't even have to go for game thanks to them having another Ripper. That basically just means they're guaranteed not going to lose on this next turn. They play the Sengoku. They discard 2 cards. Dude, you literally just have to swing 6. I guess they get the free Dawn since thanks to Hina, so they might as well just filter the hand and find what they can. Because again, they do get the free Dawn thanks to Hina. They get to go 10 into face, and we would need a 2, 2, and a 1. We do not have it. GG's to our opponent. That was a really, really well played game here by the Koby player. GG's, and we're on to the next one, man. This is a 2-game losing streak. I did not expect that with this deck. How do I sit here and just give you this like whole spiel about how this is the best deck in the format and then lose a bunch? Like, we've just been drawing incorrectly. I think it was just user error or something. Like, let's play a few more games and see how we really do. Well, you know I despise Lucci, so let's take on Lucci. You know what I mean? Why not? We're gonna mulligan that hand because we don't find any ramp, and hey, we got some ramp. That's pretty good because this is gonna be our ramp piece right here, the gear 2. It's not gonna do too much for us, but it'll ramp us a Dawn. So we're gonna go and swing in for 6 at our opponent. They probably take this being a 5-life leader. They choose to counter out pretty aggressively. We're gonna go and use this and pass. So we get to ramp 1 Dawn for free, basically with gear 2. Pretty good for us. They swing in, they just want to fill up their trash a little bit. They tap 4 to play the Kuzan. Kuzan being very good in this deck. And we're gonna go Nami, so I think we're just gonna go and swing for 7 at our opponent. They will have to take this attack, so they're doing things very correctly. Because now they can Nami, they just play Brook. We're gonna start placing these. I don't really need this much, but I wish I would have had this sooner. That would have been very nice. Because we're gonna go into 8 on our next turns. We're gonna hold the Katakuri. I think we're gonna drop Thunder Baguio to the bottom and one of the 2k counters. And I think that'll be the best option here. So our opponent is going to be in a really good spot. They're just going to swing in with 5 with Kuzan. They're going to give -4 to the Nami, and then, or 6, I guess. And then they're just going to play out a Brook and KO it. So we're going to go and cash in on this. It forces them into nothing, but we're going to go and use it while we can. Because again, they were just going to play removal. So I don't really care. It's like if you're going to remove it anyways, I might as well just not have it removed. Makes sense to me, because they're going to go Rebecca into returning a Kuzan to hand, and then they're going to play out probably a Brook. Yep, so it was going to get removed anyway, so we're good to go ahead and cash in on that character. We're going to swing in for 6 into the Brook. They're going to block with a Rebecca here. Then we're going to play an 8-drop Katakuri. It sucks that we can't remove this Kuzan, so now they should have a way to remove this character. All they need is -3, and they should have some kind of minus in the hand. So we tap out, we play this, we gain Arrested Dawn because we might as well. And then we see what our opponent can do. So all they really need here is Tempest Kick doesn't get them there, but a Suru does, and it looks like they do play Suru and One-Legged Soldier. So they give -4, now they give -1, -2, so this is a 2-cost character. So they really only need 4 for Lucci, and that KOs the character. We'll see what our opponent's going to do here. They're going to swing in for 8, give it -1 more. We're going to obviously just let all these attacks go. We are going to lose our body off the board. They're going to play Jack, rest down Jack, trash a card, draw 1, trash 1, and our character's just gone. So now they go into 10-drop Kuzan territory, and that's really bad for us because they can easily remove it with Jack again. And now you can see the strength of our opponent against this deck. So I think we're going to take the Luffy to get some rush. So we'll grab a Usohachi, start placing on the top, draw into the Lucci here. We could also draw into Gravity Blade, remove both the bodies off the board, which is not horrible, especially knowing they're going into 10-drop Kuzan territory, and we've bottom deck both of their characters. Let's try it out. Let's try Gravity Blade here. Bottom deck both the characters. We're going to swing in for 7 at our opponent. That could be 2 cards out of hand. If not, we at least have some counter in hand. And then we're going to pass, so we know if we do use the Gum Gum Giant, we'll still be on 10, thankfully. Or we can go Thunder Baguio, which won't do as much, but we can at least burn it now just to get out of the bigger attack. So there's options on the board for sure. Opponent swings in for 5, fill up more of the trash. Now their Tempest Kicks are active. I think they're just going to swing in for 8 here. And we're going to go in Thunder Baguio to save the 1-cost events for later. Might as well. And then they're going to drop a 10-drop Kuzan here, is what I'm expecting. 100% expecting a 10-drop Kuzan, which is going to be very obnoxious, which is where the 9-cost Luffy comes into play and why we did things very specifically with the Gravity Blade there. because with Kuzan and 10 drop Kuzan, we're in a very bad spot. So they could Mancherie here, but I think 10 drop Kuzan is just better. We're gonna grab the Luffy, we're gonna start placing on top, and we're gonna go, I think we're just gonna draw into a Nami for a blocker or for counter. So we're going to 9, Dawn -1, draw a card, we get to draw into the counter, we go 10 into 8. It's basically the best we have right now, sadly. They're gonna obviously counter out of this if they can. There's no reason not to. We're gonna swing 6 at our opponent here. And at this point, we are in a really bad spot, but we forced them to have 1 extra -1 cost. Maybe swinging into face would have been better for both those. We could have gone 6 into face first, see if they take, then we go 10 into face, which I honestly think is a better kind of line there, because at least we'd have them down to 1 life, so all we need is 1 good rush option to really finish off the game. So keep that in mind as we continue on. We could have them down very low already, and we don't. So this is -5 thanks to the Kuzan. They're going to swing in for 10. We're just going to take this attack because we haven't taken any life yet. We're safe to do so. They will be able to swing in for 10 more. And then I guess they're gonna Mancherie, add a character back, minus this down. No Jack. Oh, it's already a 3 cost, so they just KO it. All right, well, we have 9 total Dawns. So we're gonna go and give them this 1 cost event and then a 2k counter out of hand. So now they just use Jack, they draw 1 trash 1, they get to get rid of our character. And now they get to use Mancherie, rest down a Dawn, add a Rebecca back to hand, and then tap 4 for Rebecca to play out Brooke. And that's exactly the line that they should play here. It's very smart, unless they already have a Rebecca in hand, but I still think even Mancherie, it keeps an extra card in hand if you just use the Mancherie anyways. So they're gonna return some cards back and then grab that Rebecca that we were just talking about. I guess a Barto works too, since they already had 1 in hand. That makes sense to me. They add a Barto back to hand, and we're in a pretty tough spot here. We look at the top, we are going to grab another 9 cost Luffy here. So we're going to grab that. We maybe shouldn't have grabbed that openly. And then we're going to place these on top. I guess we're going to draw into another counter here, just because I really like the cards that we're seeing. We're going to go 6 into Mancherie, so they can't just loop the Mancherie. And then we're going to go 9 cost, Dawn -1. And then draw into another counter. We're gonna go 10 and 8 into 10. They could counter out, but they choose to block, which is probably the smart option anyways. And we have a pretty big hand, but all of our bodies just get removed. So they can literally do the same thing again almost. 10, they played out another Mancherie, so they can go 9, 10, and then play out another Rebecca, add another 2k back to hand, and they're just good to keep chaining this. Lucci is a very good matchup into this deck, so that is why I won't be playing this deck, because I just hate going against Lucci and losing, and 10 drop Kuzan is miserable. This deck is very well suited for it, as you can see how our opponent played the early game. Obviously we didn't ramp the most aggressively that we ever have, but it is what it is. We're gonna give them 2 2ks out of hand, just to get out of this attack. I don't really want to Burning Gum Giant and then go down to below 8. We need to continue drawing 2 cards, sadly. And our opponent's going to swing in probably for another 10. We'll just take that attack. And then they're going to play out the Rebecca again. Now we have a 9 Lin. 9 Lin's good, but it doesn't do too much for us at this point. Now we can 9 Lin, get rid of the Rebecca. So we're going to use the card action. We're going to draw a Gear 5th and draw into a... We're going to gain a life into the Thunder Baguio, so we're going to draw the character here. We're going to play out 9 Lin, go Dawn -1. We're going to discard a Juro. We're going to gain a life. We're going to put Rebecca on the bottom of life. And then we're going to swing 6 into Mancherie. And now this Kuzan needs to go sometime soon. And we're not really burning any resources because they still have 10 cards in hand. Now they have more life, and we're back to the same freaking spot we were just in. We do have the 1 Dawn here. We do have an attack we can take and then ramp up to 10 and then use Gum Giant. So that's also an option, so that we still go to 10 Dawn on the next turn. That's why we put the Thunder Baguio exactly where we did, so we can go into 10 Dawn and then after using the Gum Giant. So have options. They have more options though, because of course they find another Mancherie. They're going to add another Rebecca back to hand. As you can see, they have another one in trash they got for their leader effect, or one of their other effects from the deck, like the draw 1 trash one with Jack. Now they add the Rebecca back to hand, and we are still in the same loop here. Now they swing in with leader, that gives -1. If it comes to 3 cost, they use Jack, you Kuzan, blow up the whole board, and things just haven't really changed. So we're gonna give them Giant here. You'll see why, because it looks bad, because obviously we know what's here. We're gonna get +4, resolve the attack. So we know what we were drawing into. It helps us filter the deck, but we know we're also gonna take this next attack with the Kuzan to ramp Dawn. So we use the trigger, we ramp. Now we're going back into 10, so we can use our leader effect just to draw 2 additional cards. This is not looking good at all. A nada. Use the card action. We're going to draw into, oh, that's way better. This, start placing on top. We're going to return it like this. And then 9. So we're We're gonna 9, deploy, Dawn -1. We're gonna trash the Clay at this point. We're gonna gain a life. We're gonna put Montre on the bottom, and then pass. So now at least we have 2 characters on the board. This is a much needed card. The Sanji is in this matchup specifically because now we at least get 1 body on the board, but our opponent has 12 cards in hand. So, sorry, 11 cards in hand, my bad. So this is the worst showing for this deck, guys. This is the worst showing. I'm showing you all the miserable matchups and how we lose. I think people are finally figuring out how to beat blue purple Luffy, and they're building their decks around it. So maybe that's what it is. They play out Shira Hoshi, which is very interesting. They make Charlotte Linlin into a zero cost character. Now they're going to play out a Brook from hand with 3 Dawn, KO the character, and then they're going to be able to swing in for 8 with leader. 8 making this into a 6 cost. Oh no, the Brook gave this -1, so actually they don't even have to swing in with leader. I think you can see where this is going, guys. Not my best showing with this deck. Holy cow. I get it. We're going to go plus here. We're going to take the 10k. This is literally going absolutely nowhere. The same thing every freaking turn. We're going to try spamming out 3 bodies on the board right here and see if that does anything for the deck at all. So at least now we have multiple bodies, so maybe it's a little harder to room. But they have the Brook, they have the Jack, that's 2 of the bodies already, and then they just leave a blocker on the board. I think this is trash. I think it's just wraps. Listen, I've had a hard time winning today. We're going to take on Carrot and get an easy dub here. I don't like that hand. I don't like this hand even more. Opponent chooses to go first, as Carrot usually likes to go first for their curve, and we like to go first as well, so obviously we don't get to do that. We're going to go ahead and let our opponents probably swing us for 8 here. Probably just a big old swing, or maybe they play the 1-cost Carrot to play out Zoe. That would be a great option, and look at that. It is the 1-cost Carrot, draw Zoe, because I never find it when I do this, but hey, of course our opponent will. They get to restand it on, they get to swing in for 8 at us really aggressively here, and that's usually what our opponent will do. Instead, they choose to play out Consulate, basically just freezing down a 4-cost lower character, and pass. So good for them, and not so good for us. For Dawn, there's literally nothing to do, so I'm just going to swing in for 8 and pass. Our opponent will take very easily here. No reason to even try to counter something like that. No reason to even put a body on the board for us, because if not, Carrot will just rest it down, so we don't have too much going on. Our opponent still can't. They can swing 6 now. We're going to go ahead and ramp it on, resolve the attack. Oh, this is only if you have 2 or less life, so it doesn't do anything at all. This deck is miserable. We're going to swing in for 6 at our opponent, and we're going to play the 6-cost Sanji, because if we play the 5-drop Nami, they just rest it and freeze it, and it does nothing for us. So at least this is something we don't need to use for a blocker. We can use it when we need it. They get to freeze one of our Dawn here. So I'm going to go into 8. We actually only go into 7, which is okay, because we're going to Gravity Blade next turn, so this body is going to be very strong. Freezing down a Dawn, but it does not affect us as of now, which is nice. Now, our opponent has 3 total Dawn. They can swing in for 6 and 6, just getting a bunch of little cards out of hand. Or they could just swing in a big old 8. They could go 6 and 8. They could go absolutely nothing at all. They got options. I'm not going to lie to you. They got options, and I don't like these options one bit. The thing with 6k blockers in this deck is they're not as strong. The 6k blocker just don't do too much because we're a 6k leader, so we can just attack that's swung into us. So it looks like they're going to go 7 and 7 here. We're going to take the first 7. We find a 9-drop Linlin, which is going to be very good for our deck. And then we're going to 2k out of the next one, because they're going to go 7 and 7. They're going to try to force 2Ks out of hand, and we let them have them. You can have my 2Ks. I do not need them. We don't get to draw just yet, and we're going to have to Gravity Blade both of their characters off the board, so we're going to swing in for 7. We're not even going to swing the Sanji. We're going to save that for later for a big block when we need it. And then, boom, Gravity Blade. Pass turn. So we're in a very safe spot here. We do have some counter in hand. We have Lin, a Katakuri, and a Sanji. Our opponent plays 9-drop Zoro. That's not good at all. Going to give him a 1K then. 9-drop Zoro, really bad for us. So we're going to grab the red rock here, and then I think we're just going to place these on the bottom. Like, I don't need any of these, sadly. And a Gum Giant, though, is very good. So we're just going to red rock this character. We know that's what we're going to do. So why even bluff anything different? We're going to go and swing in for 7. I've decided I'm just going to start swinging in aggressively now that we have kind of some oofta. We put in some oomphta here, so we can swing in for 8 at our opponent. We're sitting on 10 Dons, so we can Gum Giant. We did get the red rock in our deck profile that we did see earlier. They have the 10-drop Doflamingo. They freeze our character. They restand it down with Zoe, and then swing in for 6 at us. 6 is not that big of a deal, I'm not going to lie. Just give them a 2k counter, and boom, bam, bop, we're on to the thing. Now let's see if we get at this top. Boom. Ooh, 8-drop Katakuri. I like it a lot. So what we're going to do is grab a Nami and a Clay, and then we're going to 9-drop Sanji into Katakuri, and then, yeah, just pass. Boom, boom, nothing. We get a block on the board and a 9k body. We can't swing our opponent thanks to the 10-drop Doflamingo, 10 being a miserable card for our deck, and they get to freeze 2 more cards. But what they don't know is they should have swung first to try to get us to use the blocker, but I wouldn't have given it to them because I'm smarter than that. Our opponent can swing in for 6. We'll counter out, and they swing in for 10. I should have given them the 1k Bon Clay, but hey, it is what it is. Our opponent does not swing in, which is kind of interesting here. we're gonna grab I think we're gonna grab the 1 cost event, and then we're gonna choose to go start placing on top. We're gonna draw onto Frenosuke here, and then we're gonna swing in for 8 at our opponent and then 9 at our opponent. Now, we could have just split here, but it was never guaranteed lethal, so we're forcing our opponent to counter. You can see just how many cards they had to give me, so this is guaranteed to hit. And then what we can do is play down, we could toss Frankie for 5, add 5 Dawn, swing in for 9. Let's just finish the game. GG's to our opponent there. We knew they didn't have much counter left, thanks to how we did things there. They did have a Garchu coming up. Rest of your opponent's characters, that's a pretty good card right there. GG's to our opponent, though. We did finally get a win with the Luffy. That was not easy, but thanks to the Gravity Blade and the Red Rock, we were able to get it in the end. Now, we didn't have much out of life, and we were kind of struggling with our deck. We didn't find everything we needed, but we won, and that's what matters. We finally got a freaking win. I don't know if it's just the build or what it was, but this deck did not feel as good as I thought it was going to. So I think in the current format of how everyone's playing, a different build is probably a lot better. And so let's definitely deep dive into that in the next week, because I want to know how to play against this deck in its best ways, and I want to know how to play it as its best way so I can think of, hey, this is what my opponent's about to do. Because as you know, I always try to predict the outcome of what someone's about to play. When we played against the Koby, and I was like, hey, he's about a brand new, obvious, but sometimes you just know, intuition. Now, but that is a pretty obvious play. If you have 2 Dawn, you usually want to brand new or Peacock or, but anyways, as always, subscribe, join the One Piece family by joining the Discord down below. If you enjoyed this video, please join the One Piece family, as we've grown so much in the last few months. We're up to 1,500 subs. We're trying to hit 5K by the end of the year, so let's get into more deck profiles very soon, more original content, and more good things One Piece related. So peace, I'll see you in the next one.